Hello? You got me now? Hello? Oh, yay. Thanks for letting me know. Can you hear me now? Yay. That's funny. I was chatting away about polarity and duality. Let's get down to business and have a look at how spirit can support us in mastering our experience of duality. So it's my understanding that we came into this planet at this time in this 3D density to explore duality and to learn how to work with it. It is an extremely challenging reality and density. And what I understand is the deeper into 3D we go, the more we have this abstraction of good and evil, light and dark, all these different experiences of duality, which create polarization. And this is something that many years ago I heard from a very wise teacher. Our ability to master the experience of duality is one of the greatest things we came here to learn. And the experience of it, once we've learned how to do it, creates an immediate sense of being very safe and grounded and relaxed and present, living in every moment. So it's actually our fighting against polarity and duality that creates most of our suffering. And so this wise teacher said that the definition of sanity is to be able to hold two seemingly polarized concepts or experiences in balance without resolution and without one having to conquer or dominate the other. So it is, in effect, our ability to come into what I call the whole brain, heart-centered state, power neutral frequency, and to be able to experience two things that seem to be opposed and opposite and hold them in a harmonic balance that's always changing. So it's the ability to kind of stick with the process of ongoing evolution and ongoing expanded consciousness. As soon as we go into rigid black and white, good, bad, right, wrong, right, left, we are out of our experience of being present in the moment. We're out of our heart centered power neutral space, the frequency of love, and we're into fear, basically. So, yeah, thank you, Sue. A wise teacher once said, our power is in our neutrality. So that's the real power of being able to master the contrast or the illusion of duality. So my sense is that our challenge is to be able to enjoy the contrasts of duality, to be able to actually, get into a co-creative mode with life and reality and not be completely thrown off by what appears to be diametrically opposed realities, if that makes sense. I know it's getting very deep and philosophical right from the get-go here, but I want to draw on this tool, this divination tool, for different insights and resources that may come through for us today as a group around what spirit shows us we can adopt as practices or as perspectives that will help us overcome that fractured, abstract, fear-based polarization tendency that is part of our challenge here in 3D. Strong, courageous, open-hearted warriors. Thank you. Good morning, Lynn. So I'm going to begin. Let's get right to it. Looking at polarization and duality. Wow, our emperor shows up immediately. So masculine, feminine is a huge part of this dynamic dance of duality. And how often have we experienced the polarization and contrast between masculine and feminine? So I'm going to ask the cards, what do we need to know about this right now to support our coming into a more heart-centered frequency, power neutral frequency? This is us. Okay, this is us. We are the ones that are ready to embody the mastery of duality. This is a very physical card. Our Queen of Pentacles is the queen of the natural world and the queen of the material world. She is all about our relationships. The King energy is about mastery. The Queen energy is about relationships. So we are not quite at the level of mastery yet in terms of being able to effortlessly, I want to say in a way, not override, but integrate our experience of duality. We are still in the practice phase. We are still in the relational phase. We're still in the exploratory phase of working with duality and embodiment. Interesting. The first card is about the physical realm, embodying an integration of duality. Oh, wow. And the answer is heart-centered. So Ace of Cups is the, I want to say, unconditional wellspring of our human heart. You notice how the dove of peace is dropping a coin or a gift or an offering into the cup. And this is the ever-filling, eternal wellspring of love, the cup that never runs dry. Beautiful. So that's the overall answer of how do we approach this experience of duality, embodied in physical form and focused on heart, healing our hearts. Wow. Okay, here we go. We have in the past another card related to physical embodiment, Page of Pentacles. So, you know, I want to say one of the casualties of our modern era that is so strongly technological and such an age of information, it keeps us in our minds a lot and it keeps us out of our bodies. These two cards, a lot about embodiment, and it keeps us less and less engaged emotionally. So let's have a look at this. They're saying in the recent past, we have been invited back into our bodies. And I want to say we've been invited to embody a lot of the incredible information that has been circulating amongst the collective consciousness over the last, let's say, they're telling me 30 to 40 years. So we've had so much new knowledge, new wisdom, new information. And we're being invited to bring that, ground it into our bodies. Wow, there's another queen. This is the present Queen of Wands. So we've got the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. Two queen energies in this little spread so far. Queen of Pentacles is inviting us to embody our experience of duality. We'll talk in a minute about how that could look. Queen of Wands is inviting us into creativity, activating our life force energy, our will, our motivation. You know, she is very, very colorful, very playful, very artistic. Interesting. So we are so far being invited into physical form, embodiment. When I look at these two cards around embodiment, what I see is things like our relationship with food, our relationship with growing our food, with our gardens, with our health in the physical body. So a way to heal the contrast of duality in 3D physical form is to come into a harmonic relationship with our own health and our own physical bodies, including what we're putting into our bodies. And they're saying our bodies can be, in a way, like the battleground for opposing realities. And also, so how do we work with that? We work with the emotional energy coming into unconditional love, and we work with this very creative energy that's focused on art, music, dance, creativity of all forms. Let's see where we're going with this, everyone. Ooh, wow. Okay, we are going into high energy, increasing the frequency. So the guides are saying, you know what? Probably a good idea, everybody, to get really balanced hormonally, to get really balanced in your physical body, and to balance that with this emotional healing, being able to come into an experience in the heart of unconditional love, and that we're actually getting all that moving through creativity and the arts, because all the frequencies are about to be turned up. It's like the gas on a stove. They're saying, you know, things are really going to get cooking. And what that means is the frequencies that appear to be polarization and duality are going to become even more contrasting. So we want to empower ourselves to create a body, an energy body, and an emotional capacity to move more frequency of energy through our beings. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more here in a minute. Okay, here's our advice. Stabilizing in the physical realm and healing in the emotional realm. I'm going to put some cards on the side, and then I'll bring them up and we'll have a look at them one by one. All right. Wow. This is exciting. So this is our advice. Our advice is stabilization in the physical form. Again, how do we do that? What do we have control over in 3D? What do we have the most control over in 3D? In deep density physical form? These things, these bodies. It's the one thing that we have, I want to say, the most sovereign choice over. You know, it's interesting. They say that people who suffer from diseases or syndromes like anorexia, part of it is because it's the one place, you know, for particularly a lot of young women who feel like they don't have control in the outer world. They often turn to what they do have control over, which is literally what they eat. So it's kind of like the first frontier and the final frontier is what I'm being shown. Our bodies are the place where, you know, balance, health, integrating polarity, this is the place that we can actualize through our choices, how we treat our bodies, how we work with our bodies. We have the ability to stabilize polarity and master duality in our physical form. Isn't that powerful? And yet they're saying we can't only focus on the physical because the emotional is directly linked. So it's like they're saying you can't fool your body. I know that's my experience as well. If there's something emotionally unresolved for me, immediately my body starts reacting. It will go into old habits. It will react very sensitively to things that I'm ingesting. It will even react to my thoughts and my feelings. Have you ever noticed that? You know, your mind can be telling you, oh yeah, I'm totally fine with this. And then your palms start sweating and your heart starts beating and you're like, I guess I'm not so fine with this after all, right? So this is the intelligence of the body is saying, we know exactly what's really going on. And that is because the body is kind of like, they're saying it's sort of like the system between the deep subconscious, which is really connected to our soul, our personal evolutionary journey as a soul, and our mind, which is what we tell ourselves is reality and our personality. So the body is kind of like the filter that all that moves through. Isn't that fascinating? That is so fascinating to me. So here we have these bodies that are, in a way, our frontline filtering system. And through them, we learn, okay, I'm telling myself this, but my body is doing this. So am I in alignment with my subconscious, with my true soul's purpose, experience, value? Our bodies and our emotions are going to show us very quickly where we're actually at. Isn't that fascinating? I love to tell this story about I had what I called an elemental healing journey last summer. I had a lot of health problems the year before that. And I decided to take 3 months and do this extraordinary elemental healing journey. I think I've told this story before. And, you know, I went to the same place that I'd gone the year before. The year before, I only went for a week. And this last summer, I knew I was going to go for 3 months. And the year before, I was there for the week and I never settled. My mind was like, oh, great, I'm here. I'm going to relax. But my body couldn't settle. It couldn't relax. It wouldn't. It didn't matter what I did. Didn't matter what I told it. It would not settle. And then the next year, when I knew I was going to be there for 3 months, guess what? 5 minutes in, 5 minutes, my body's like, huh, instant. It knows the difference. Our bodies are not stupid. They're deeply connected to the subconscious frequency. And they are the filtration system going both ways. Interesting. So this is where the mastery of duality begins. It's between the deep subconscious emotion and our physical form that we have control over. And we can't escape until we leave this planet. This is what we've been given. We're in it, and we have the opportunity to heal the wounds of the abstract concept of separation. It's really just a concept. We are experiencing polarization, duality, and separation from source as an experience, as an experiment to learn things and to be, in a way, humbled by the physical experience. You know, it's like they're saying it's a very humbling thing because we can't run away from the effects, the immediate effects of our thoughts, of our, all of what we brought in to work on here in 3D. We can't just sort of ignore it. It's going to continue to filter its way through, and we're going to have no option. We either check out or we stay here and we learn how to be humbled in the physical realm to do the actual healing, and that we can't abstract away from it. There's no way to avoid the healing. So this is interesting because what I'm also being shown, this is an absolutely beautiful card that suggests that we're going to do this. And as we create more space for this, Four of Pentacles, stabilization, the number 4 is form. It's the formula and physical reality with the pentacles. As we create a stabilized container to do our healing work that's ongoing and never ending. Remember, we've talked about this a few weeks back. As we create that container and allow ourselves to be humbled, this gets easier. It gets easier. It gets easier to take polarization in stride. And they're saying, we want to get good at this because it's going to keep, the dial's going to keep being turned up. We're going to keep experiencing more and more contrast in duality. They're saying, for some reason, I'm being shown any sort of practice like an art form, the mastery of a physical activity, let's say a sport, or anything that you challenge yourself with. What do you come up against in the beginning? They call it the learning curve, right? What do you come up against? The limitation of form. We're all humbled as beginners with anything. It's like, oh gosh, this is hard. This is hard work. Becoming masterful at any art form, at any sport or activity, we always have to face 3D contrasting, the effect of gravity, the effect of contrast and action reaction. That humbling process, if we give up, we don't master whatever it is. But how does it feel when you master it? How does it feel? Yeah, it feels amazing, right? It's like, there's nothing more beautiful than learning something, taking weeks, months, even years in some cases, and getting to a point with it where you enjoy it so much and you've learned so much from it. So that's a small example of the whole experience that we're going through here in 3D. And if we can treat this whole experience like we came here to master something, and we're going to have a learning curve with that, there's going to be failure, there's going to be discouragement along the way. But as we get better and better at it, we can start to go, this feels amazing. You know, they are showing me for some reason surfing. And they're saying, like, gosh, what a learning curve, because it's not only that you are learning to master these techniques and so on, but you also are at the mercy of what kind of wave is coming your way. So you could master something, but then you could be waiting all day for the right wave. So it's not, it's both us mastering what we've been given here and also being humbled to know that even as we master it, it doesn't always come in predictable waves. It comes when you least expect it, right? Like your opportunity, you're there going like, I worked so hard at doing this thing. And for what? There's nothing there. I'm not being given the opportunity to use that skill. But if you shut down at that point, you could miss the wave of a lifetime. So yeah, I mean, it's a little bit torturous when we think about it like that. When we think about why did we choose this? Okay, now here I'm being shown, wow, I'm being shown something that I think could be a big game changer for all of us. And once again, I want to say thanks to you who are here with me and you who are tuning in later. It's your guides that are here helping us collectively get these beautiful gems of wisdom coming through from spirit. So what I'm being shown is there is something okay, this fellow is angry. This Knight of Swords, he's like got a bone to pick. He's coming, charging forward with his sword. Swords are thoughts, words, ideas, beliefs, communication. He's charging towards the lovers. The lovers represent us in our 3D form in a position of always being in the power of choice. The Lovers card is a lot about the empowerment of choice. And that kind of takes us back to where I was saying about this, the choice of how we treat our physical bodies, how we work with the humble process of working with that deep subconscious being filtered through the physical form. And what I'm being shown is we get mad about polarity, right? We get mad about duality. We're like, how dare you, person over there, or, unexpected challenge coming up. How dare you go against my reality? This is my belief over here, or this is the way I'm approaching things. And suddenly there's some contrasting opinion or reality that presents itself, and we get really mad because we've formulated a concept, a belief, a position, and then something invariably is going to come along and challenge that. What they're saying is the beautiful thing that we're missing, because we're just mad, is we're missing that we're being given an opportunity to make yet another choice. So what's really powerful for us to become aware of in mastering duality is that duality is not a punishment. Having the opposite thing happen than what you were hoping for, expecting, or prepared for is not a punishment. It's an opportunity to grow and empower yourself with a new choice. So, what we're being faced with is we're going, what? You're going to turn up the volume? This has been pretty loud already, right? For the last 3 years, this contrasting reality of, two different viewpoints, polarized viewpoints, narratives. Wow. And it's going to get more. That contrasting energy is going to keep accelerating. But what spirit is saying is, folks, we're trying to give you more choices. We're trying to illustrate to you the ways that you haven't been empowered to choose. There's been a lot of, and I'm getting 6,000 years is what they're saying, increasingly having our power of choice, the illusion of that being taken away. So we've fallen under the spell or the illusion that we have less and less and less and less choice. And these contrasting, polarized duality, seemingly battles are coming forward right now to show us we have choice. We have the choice, so much choice. And it's literally coming at us day after day after day. And so what we're actually fighting with is our own disempowered, I want to say, kind of like an abused person. We have a very low self-esteem and we don't trust that we have the power to make choices. We don't trust that we have the wisdom or the integrity to make good choices. We basically don't trust the process of choice. And so what they're saying is really strong polarization forces us to choose. Wow, forces us to choose. And so is that a bad thing? Is it a bad thing? We're going to know ourselves. We're going to learn more about ourselves. If we can relax and say, thank you, spirit. Thank you, body, for giving me a new choice in this moment. Thank you for presenting me with this dilemma of duality in this moment, because I now see I'm empowered to make a new choice. I honestly think that one of the most challenging things in all of this is it's humiliating to see how disempowered we've been and how little choice we've actually allowed ourselves, and that we've been basically trained to not choose for ourselves. Wow. They're saying it's kind of like humiliation, embarrassment, and shame all wrapped up. And one of the things, because they're showing me this character, right? He's there, spirit is presenting a choice, and he's going, I don't want to make a choice. You didn't let me make choices all those millennia. And okay, I don't want to make a choice now. Oh, now you're going to let me make a choice? Where does that come from? That comes from feeling ashamed. That comes from feeling humiliated. And let's say, you know what? The fact that we're being given the opportunity to see the choices means we have nothing to be ashamed of. We have nothing to feel humiliated about. We're living in the past if we're closing our arms and going, I'm too mad to make a choice. How dare spirit put me in this position? It's kind of like on some level we're saying, how did I ever let it get to this point? How did I ever let myself? get to this point. You think about those of us who are aware of agendas, global political agendas, and as we become more and more aware and awake to what's happening, there can be this phenomenal feeling of like, how dare they, or, I'm going to take this up with upstairs because I'm just so mad that I've been put in this position. And the more I learn, the madder I get. And again, I'm being shown there's a humility in this. There's allowing ourselves to be humbled and say, for some reason, we've chosen to have a very big contrast here. And if the contrast is that big, the choice is going to be equally big. Meaning we have that choice for ultimate liberation right there. Mm-hmm. Hello, everyone. Yeah. Duality exists in all of our lives. Thank you, Ricky. Decide to learn from it and move on, or stay in duality. We can talk to our subconscious through our body, and it's incredible. Thank you. Yeah. Beautiful. So let's see if there's anything else that wants to come through here from Spirit in the way of supporting us in feeling empowered to master duality. So far with all that Queen energy, we're not quite in the mastery stage yet. We're more in the relational stage, which, think about it, when you're in relationship energy, it's very humbling, isn't it? It's that stage where you're still learning before you get to the feeling of masterful accomplishment. Even in masterful accomplishment, there's always the knowing that anything could happen and you could be put back to the beginning of learning again, another learning curve. The beautiful thing about arriving at a level of mastery is that it's not going to take you so long to go through the learning journey the second time, the third time, the fourth time, and so on. That's one of the beautiful things I feel like about the energy of mastery is it's never an absolute. I tell people all the time when we're reading cards, good readers never have confidence in their ability as a reader. They have confidence in their integrity and their intentions. And knowing that you're staying in that stream of integrity and good intentions, you will be sometimes challenged, but more often than not, you're going to enjoy the experience of feeling masterful because you're humble, because you're not trying to dominate what it is you're doing. You're in relationship. You've already got through that learning process, through the uncomfortable, humbling phase of being in relationship with something, to learn to surf or ski or something. Like there's the real challenge of you're actually in danger potentially, and you've got to be humble or you're going to get hurt, possibly very badly hurt. So when you're learning, there's this extraordinary state of humility, of like falling down. And what makes us come back for more in these cases? It is the love of the journey of exploring and expanding as a human being, of learning how to work with that energy of masterful creation, co-creation, and expansion into greater potential of who you are. So all of this duality is not a punishment. It is an opportunity and an invitation to make more and more creative choices, discern creative choices, and then go through the very humbling process of learning. All right, let's have a look, see what else Spirit wants to show us about how we can feel a more natural, gracious, effortless experience of mastering duality. Here's us. Okay, we are now in that state of healing, the temperance healing angel. We're there. We're healing. We're coming into balance. Look at that. There's actually 2 cups, and the angel is balancing the waters, mixing, alchemizing the waters between the 2 cups. So we are in that process of learning to master duality. Oh, I had a feeling just as I was about to lay these cards down and I was asking the question, how can we move more into a state of grace and ease with mastering duality? I was like, well, play. And here's the play card. Play, joy, celebration. So part of what keeps duality very, very contrasting, black and white, and a lot of suffering, distortion, painful experiences of separation from source and so on, a lot of abstraction. Part of what keeps that so black and white is seriousness, taking it very, very serious. And I'm not saying that our suffering is not serious. I'm not saying that, our wounds from the past are not serious in the effect that they've had on us. However, always everything is getting recycled into the whole experience. So it's always getting, they're showing me, it's always getting sort of thrown back into the mix. The longer we stick with suffering, polarization, ego, fear, anger, resentment, and all the negative experiences and feelings, we've got to go through them and allow them. But the longer we stick there and don't come back into joy, celebration, gratitude, the more we start to suffer with the contrast of duality. Oh, wow. Past is the sun. I'm going to lay them all out. Look at this. Present is the 2, the duality, the 2 of Pentacles. Potential future is the Strength card. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to lift the screen, lift them up one by one. What I'm being shown is you'll often hear stories of people who live in, say, third world countries or impoverished areas where, by our Western standards, those people have a lot to be disappointed by, traumatized by, in, polarized conflict with, and, that sort of black and white, good, bad, right, wrong energy. We see people who've gone through extreme circumstances personally, or, war-torn areas and stuff like that. And one of the things that we hear over and over again is the miraculous experience of people finding true joy, true gratitude, true reverence for life in that contrast, in that suffering. And we go, how is that even possible? Like, here, many of us are in our first world life experience, and we're so upset about some little distortion in our reality. And people can go through such extraordinary hardship and be laughing, like, not right away, but they find their way back to joy and play, is it just that they're in denial of the black and white duality polarization? Or is that somehow really going deep into that process and learning through it has given them more of a reverence for life, more of an appreciation, more to be grateful for? So interesting. I've got a bird outside my window right now and it's squawking away. So there is this energy of spirit wants to play. And so if we can move beyond polarization, beyond feeling extreme states of victimization and anger, and find our way back into the harmony, the gratitude, the joy, we will go through these points, these chaotic nodes where everything looks really black and white, back into Technicolor. Look at this. So here we are in the past, Technicolor, beautiful. The sun is one of the most, well, it is the most auspicious card out of the 78 in the tarot. And so we've come from this beautiful sunny day, and then all of a sudden, the winds pick up, the waves on the ocean start to get more and more extreme. We were talking about that surfing energy. And this character is going like, oh my gosh, they're juggling two things. Duality. This or that, good or bad, right or wrong, black and white thinking, not color, black and white thinking. So the message is we've got to go through a portion of that, because if it's just this and this and this forever and ever and ever, with no abstract into duality, this is what they say. All the spiritual masters and high-level teachers always say we came out of unity consciousness into duality to grow and learn. But the idea is that we don't get stuck in duality. We move from beautiful unity through a temporary experience of contrast, black and white thinking, polarization, and duality. And through that, we deepen our experience and our appreciation of life. So you see that journey? The Strength Maiden is where we end up. And I find it interesting in a way that, if you look at this little sun riding in on the white horse, it's like we came in to our experience of duality. We were sort of ushered in willingly but naively. And then we go through duality and it's like, whoa, oh my goodness, what a wake-up call, and terrifying, and huge learning curves, very humbling. But then what we come out of it with is, now, do you see this Strength Maiden, or the energy of strength, integrated? Look at that. You see there's the figure 8 symbol over her head. The same infinity symbol is right here with this juggler, the 2 of Pentacles. So through juggling through the experience of duality, we end up integrating a deeper sense of self, of strength, of purpose, of deep meaning, and ultimately deeper appreciation for the experience of life in a 3D reality. So, can we see this? Can we allow ourselves to see this as a choice that we have decided to offer ourselves? We've decided to offer ourselves a ride on this infinity loop of polarization, extremes, potentially even opposites, and in learning to integrate and balance that, especially in our bodies and in our emotions, in learning to work with that, we literally find out who we are, what we're made of, how strong we are. I'm going to leave you off with this. The star, 7 of Pentacles. The stars are watching and waiting. We are really being observed and appreciated all over the galaxy, the universe. This is an extraordinary testing ground, learning ground, they say school of hard knocks, but I want to say it's really school of integrating and learning to master duality. And we're still in the major part of the lesson, but interesting with this 7 of Pentacles, patience, perseverance. You notice in my soul sampler this week, all these number 7s came up. Here's our 7 of Pentacles. The star is number 17, a 1 and a 7. So this spiritual journey of integrating duality is what we came here to do. And we are being watched, acknowledged, celebrated all over the cosmos. There's nothing like it anywhere else, is what they're saying. This is the most extraordinary learning experience that a soul can go through. And they're saying it's absolutely captivating to all the different dimensions that are observing us. They're just like literally glued to their observation wherever they watch through. They are just absolutely captivated and deeply, deeply moved by what we do here, by what we're doing, by how we go through this, by how we as these extraordinary spiritual beings of light get literally humbled to our knees, shaking with grief, with trauma. Like, they're just like, oh my gosh, they're so brave. They're so brave. That's what I'm being shown. They're just like, like when we graduate out of here, it's like we're getting standing ovations and every medal available. They're just wowed by us. Wowed by us. So when we look back at that little 4 of Cups guy that's like, well, I don't know if I want to choose now. Like, thanks for giving me choice now. That's just our little ego saying, I feel embarrassed, humiliated. I don't like being humbled. And yet, look at what this is really all about. It's the opposite of being humbled. We are literally being exalted to the highest realms, because going through this is the greatest experience a soul can have. So, no small topic. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Let's see, Sue. Mind, body, spirit. Where does emotions fit in? Are emotions part of the spirit? Oh, yeah. Interesting. It's kind of what I'm being shown is there's a connection between the subconscious, the physical body, and then the spirit moving between those realms is what we experience as emotion, is what they're saying. So yes, I guess in a way you could say it is our spirit that's emotion, but it's not our spirit just in its natural pure form. It's in our spirit, literally in motion between the subconscious and the physical. So emotion is actually all of it, is what the guides are saying. Emotion is the subconscious, the spirit energy moving from subconscious into form, into subconscious into form, which creates the emotional energy. And then the mental is also part of form. They're saying the mental body is connected to the physical body. So it is like a frontline system of navigation, of perception, of making sense of things. But of course, it's been so strongly kind of disconnected. They're showing me the eyes. They're going like, we've just been focused here and we've started to cut off from all the other senses. So working with the energy of emotion helps to get us out of just working with vision and visualizing and the mental realm. It's great. It's a very important, necessary tool for experiencing 3D polarized reality, because in a way, it's kind of like how we navigate through it is through the mental realm. But without giving more credence to the emotional energy of spirit moving back and forth between subconscious and form, which includes the mental, we're losing touch, literally, with our spiritual purpose for being here. And the subconscious, working through the physical body, is going to remind us, you're losing the plot again. Body is going to start having sensation. Emotions are going to start getting activated. The mind is going to be scrambling, trying to figure out how to make sense of all this and trying to polarize and compartmentalize. Okay, put that in that box, put that box, It's like, okay, you feeling better feelings? And the feelings are like, no, this is much bigger than that. So I hope that helps. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, thank you. Bette Davies, we have 4 bodies: physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. Yeah. And I've learned so many different things about the different names of the different bodies over the years. And interestingly enough, I'm at a place now where I am surrendering to being re-educated moment to moment and being shown different ways of perceiving these bodies so that we can start to become more at ease and comfortable and ultimately a little bit more confident in how to work with them. Confident, not meaning that we, again, are now feeling like we've mastered something and we don't have to continue to stay open and heart-centered around it, but confident in the feeling that we are capable of navigating between these different bodies. It's something, as we learn to do it and learn to do it as the sort of pressure rises, we're going to actually be welcoming the big wave. We're going to be like, we've been ready for this. We've been preparing for it. And it feels amazing. We're going to catch that wave. So I will leave you all with these thoughts. Have a beautiful week. If you're interested in taking advantage of my sale, you're going to see the coupon for that below. It's still on until the 20th of June. So you've got a little bit of time still. The spots are filling up. If you'd like to get in to see me within the next 2 or 3 weeks, it'd be great to go on soon because I'm filling up into the future now. So have a beautiful week, everyone. I look forward to seeing you here again next time.